Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be doing a breakdown on Will Levis, and we're going to start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals.
You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video.
Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become.
All right, so Will Levis is getting a really ton of publicity right now. He's somebody that has been, over the course of the season, been kind of progressing up in terms of a lot of the mock drafts, shows a lot of arm strength, and that's what we're going to get a lot into today. Looking at his numbers, not over the top impressive, right? Threw for 2,800 yards in 2021, 2,400 yards this past year, 24 touchdowns at 13 interceptions in 2021, and then 19 touchdowns to 10 interceptions in 2022. So, it's somebody that on film, is able to show a lot of potential at the next level for pro teams, but number-wise doesn't show anything great. He went to Penn State and then transferred to Kentucky. Kentucky obviously doesn't have the most amount of talent in the SEC. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and hop into it here. One of the things that stands out to me is he is a little long with his release, right? I know this isn't the perfect angle, but he does get back a pretty far amount here. And what I've just noticed is guys that do that, either one, they throw a lot with their elbows, right, which is kind of what he does, or two, and this doesn't necessarily make it so you don't throw with your elbow, but additionally, you could end up really coming around a lot, which is going to impact the accuracy overall. And he doesn't really do that. He just throws a lot with the elbow, relies a lot on the extension within the arm. I've seen that in the past, and it's hard to be able to have consistency with that type of throw. And again, this is just not the most effective way to load the shoulder, right? So that's one of the things that we talk about. He starts at 0.41 and he gets the ball out at about 7.4. Okay, 0.33. That's not bad in terms of the release, but it's also not amazing either. We'll go here. This is a little bit of a longer throw, right? Kind of has that Patrick Mahomes. You can see, a lot of these guys, I recently just did Bryce Young probably about 30 minutes ago, and he's really similar to Aaron Rodgers. We can see how he's kind of loading, how Will Levis here is loading his foot is really similar to, Patrick Mahomes, how he kind of gets that internal rotation of that knee and really extends out with his foot. That's something that we see Patrick Mahomes do. So a lot of these guys, they end up mimicking the top guys, which is why I make these videos, right? So you can have that same opportunity. Check out what some of the best guys do, so then you can implement it, especially if it makes sense, right? Especially if it feels like it's something that you could easily do within your mechanics that could really make a big difference, whether it is getting the ball in your hands faster, whether it's increasing your throwing velocity, whether it is just making it so you're more accurate, you're able to have more control of the ball. That's the point of these videos, is to be able to give you the opportunity to watch these and be able to connect with it and be able to make improvements, right? So again, we get that internal rotation, which helps load those hips to make it so then now as we transfer to external rotation, which everybody goes into external rotation of the hips when they throw the ball. There's no way you cannot do that, right? So we're going to be getting into external rotation. The point of loading with getting more internal rotation is then that makes it so that the movement from internal rotation to external rotation is greater. Okay, it's similar to if you're going to go and the certain length that you could pull back in a rubber band, right? If you could pull back, let's say, a foot of the rubber band, it's going to create a certain amount of force. Where if you could pull back a foot and a half, it's going to create a little bit more, right? And so that's the idea, where he's just getting a little bit more range to make it so then as he transfers onto that front leg, there's a greater amount of force and weight shift onto that front leg, which, he's a good sized guy. He's 6'3", 230, right? So he's really got a big body, which is obviously something that they're looking for at the next level. And he does a great job of being able to really drive the football downfield, right? He's willing to take shots. He manages the game well. There's a lot of things that stand out with him. You can see here how he's kind of throwing with that elbow. This is where you kind of see where he's a little bit late with the wrist. He kind of overextends with the elbow. He's definitely a bit at risk for having some overuse within that elbow. He should definitely make some changes within how the ball comes out of his hands in order to address that, right? To make it so he could have a little bit more longevity in his game, right? I mean, he's 23 right now. He's young, but years of being able to or of releasing the ball like that, similar to Tom Brady. Tom Brady talks about how he ended up having a lot of elbow pain early on, and you could see how he threw the ball and really generating a lot of extension out of that elbow. Does put a lot of pressure there. So this was a great play, right? So there's part of being a quarterback that is, how well can you throw the ball when there's nobody around you, right? How well can you throw that deep ball? How fast do you get the ball out of your hands? And then part of being a quarterback is being able to make these types of plays. And I want to be able to really showcase this more for you guys, because I think a lot of times we get too consumed with how pretty it looks being a quarterback, and not enough appreciation is given to just being able to be an effective player of football, right? Being able to just make it so the guys around you can be able to make plays, your team can win games, the offense gets down the field, right? It's not only just about throwing the ball well, it's about scoring touchdowns, it's about winning games is really, what it's most important about with quarterbacks, which is why, Will Levis had some good, at the beginning of the year had a little bit more steam, but then as he started to lose to, especially some of those better SEC schools, started to have, against Tennessee through 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, right? You start to have some of those types of games, and it makes it so your stock kind of drops a little bit, because it shows that you're not always able to, just be as effective in winning games as a quarterback, where you see, most of the guys are going to be taken as the top 3 quarterbacks. Those are guys that are able to perform at a very high level against the best competition, against the best team. But here he is taking a shot, right? He has to get the ball out of his hands quickly, recognizes that this guy is unblocked, he's coming for him, waiting for this guy to be able to make a move, get open, and just putting it in a place where he can make a play. It doesn't need to be in a perfect spot, but it's in the spot that makes it so now he can catch the ball and pick up yards, and ends up, he gets the ball in his hands, and he has a great matchup here, and so he's able to score a touchdown. Right? That's what we got to be able to do as a quarterback. Yeah, it's important to be able to throw the ball far. Yeah, it's important that you have accuracy. Yeah, it's important that you get the ball out of your hands quickly. But at the end of the day, you could have all of that and still get beat out by somebody who is just more effective at running the offense. Okay? And you could say that it ends up being the offensive line. It could be the play calling. It could be this. It could be that. At the end of the day, you have the ball in your hands, and it's your choice in what you do with it. Whether you throw the ball quickly, whether you move out to the side, whether you are able to throw the ball on time, be accurate, okay? Even if the guys are dropping the balls, right? That ends up being something that you can work on as a quarterback, right? Either stay after with the guys, right? You already know that's a problem going into the game, so stay after, spend more time with those guys, being able to work on catching the ball, making it so the placement of the football is more specific, okay? So you want to be able to find as many ways to take ownership of the situation to then make it so you could have the best overall success as an athlete, okay? So, this is another good throw, right? He's getting pressure and is still able to keep that weight back, right? This is where you really see that next level talent, because he really didn't even try here, right? He kind of puts a little bit of weight into his back leg, but really doesn't try very much, and is able to easily throw the ball, 60 yards, obviously, or 50 yards, right? Obviously, this ball is a little bit underthrown, but for him barely putting anything into it and getting hit simultaneously in the arm, that's an impressive throw, right? This is the type of thing that makes him, you watch this, you say, okay, he could be, a top 3, pick, no doubt about it, right? But again, you see some of the things against, Tennessee later on in the year, it makes it a little bit more shaky. So, we'll see what ends up happening. We'll see how he does in the probe day. As always, guys, if you like the information, click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Would love to hear your thoughts about some of the things I'm talking about here. We're going to provide a lot more value here in 2023. I'm really excited about it. Check out some of the things we have in the description. We got the throw program, right? We have a new program coming out with the Throw 6C. I made it so you can do monthly as well as pay for the whole thing up front. Obviously, if you pay for the whole thing up front, it's a little bit cheaper, right? It's a better option. But if you want to do monthly, that works out as well. You can cancel at any time. We really want to be able to push the overall commitment in a lot of different ways, right? Being able to consistently send in video to help you out in improving your mechanics. We want to be able to work on different parts of your individual game, right? Like we talked about before, it's not just about being able to throw the ball nicely. It's about being able to be effective in getting the ball out of your hands in a variety of different ways, and just being able to be a more effective overall football player. And so we want to be able to work on being able to achieve that for you in the best possible way that we can, as well as exercises, as well as drills, as well as staying accountable to what it is that you're committed to, which is to throw the ball further, which is to increase your throwing mechanics, which is to improve your release, whatever it ends up being, right? Getting stronger, adding more weight. Let's make some commitments. Let's set some goals now that we're starting off 2023 and stick to them, right? That's the great thing about football is such a great timing in terms of the season ends at the end of the year, then off season begins at the beginning of the year. So now you can go into 2023 with new objectives, new goals, new heights, new abilities, and let's get it. Let's make it happen. I'm excited to work with all the guys that are signed up for the program already, and excited to be able to add more guys to it. So that's why I'm getting back into doing these throw breakdowns again, to be able to provide more value so you guys can see that this is going to make it so the game that or the level that you're at currently can be drastically improved, but all you need to do is be able to believe in yourself and commit to it. So again, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Talk to you soon.